guys, so we are here at Studio Halo with Gabrielle Nails.
Hey guys.
Who is amazing, and this is 2 weeks post mani, so we're gonna remove it. Gabrielle uses an electric file. We'll show you a little bit of that process, then we'll get into the questions, the colors, what we use, and all of your burning questions. So we just removed last week's gel polish and we do it with an electric file, and now we are going to do the next step, which
we're gonna file her nails, give them a nice shape. We're gonna try and keep most of the length, just take off anything that's chipped on the ends. And then we're gonna do the cuticles, refill with gel, and apply more color. Her signature color, actually. We're gonna do signature pink today because it's the KG pink, because I get asked so often, what is that pink? And I never can just be like, oh, it's OPI, blah, 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 because it's not OPI, and because we custom mix it. So today we're gonna show you how we do it. So whether you have access to this type of gel or you're doing a different type of gel, you'll know how to make it yourself, or your nail tech. Exactly.
A lot of people will ask why we use the electric file to remove the gel polish. Often you'll see people soak their nails in acetone and like wrap it with tinfoil. Can you explain why we do it with the electric file?
Right. So the hard gel that I use on Catherine is actually a gel that doesn't soak off, so it has to be filed off. I prefer to use an electric file rather than a hand file because the hand files can be pretty sharp and they can be rough on the skin.
And
it also would take it gets hot. There's a lot of friction, so that causes heat, and it takes a long time. So it would take me probably over half an hour to file off all the color, and it's like physically very difficult to do. So I use an electric file. It's super high quality. It's not one of those sanding bands that most places use. So this is actually made for this. It's a carbide bit, and it's really soft around the edges. So I could even, if I accidentally touch the skin, it's not gonna rip her skin. It's not gonna cause too much heat. So a really good quality electric file does the job super, super well.
And when I first started coming here and we were using the electric file, I was like so nervous, but it's less aggressive, or less, you feel it less than you do with a nail file, because with the nail file it would get really, really hot all the time, and like feel like my nail was like, oh, it's like, it gives me like that nail on the chalkboard feeling, like it was the worst thing ever. So it's actually much more enjoyable.
Yeah, exactly. It's much smoother for sure. So just taking off the edge. All right. So keep the length squared off again.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So something that I do when I'm getting my nails done is like we discuss colors. I'm sure every girl does this, where it's like the great debate, like, do I do this color, do I do that color? I kind of always stick to like baby pink, see-through-ish white, red, and then on the odd occasion I'll do like a bright coral like I just had. For the most part, it's really back and forth between like a reddish coral, a whitish color, or my custom pink. Right now, I'm kind of tempted to do this like baby peach color, but for the sake of this video, I feel as though I have to do my baby pink. So we're gonna do the baby pink. So now it is time for the fun part. we are going to start painting. Cuticles are done, polishes or gel is taken off, and we're gonna answer some of your questions while we do this. So I do gel. Everyone always asks, is that shellac? Like that is like the number one thing I get asked. Is that shellac? Is it gel? Is it acrylic? What is it? It's gel. I'm gonna let Gabrielle explain better what it is because she's the expert, not me. But I'll let Gabrielle explain.
So on Catherine, I use a hard gel that's from Akzentz. So this is a gel that does not soak off. It strengthens the nail, and I can also make a really nice shape. So this is great also for people that have dips in their nails or any kind of nail that doesn't have a good structure. You can go in and fix it up with that. So that just makes a really nice foundation for the color, makes it perfectly smooth and even. But it does need to be filed off and not soaked off. So unlike shellac is a hybrid. So it's like a mix between gel and regular polish. So this is 100% gel, does not soak off. So that's the difference.
And in my case, shellac doesn't work for me. I'm always cooking, I'm always using my hands. When I do shellac, it will last me maybe a few days. This is the pretty much only thing that really works for me that won't have my nails chipping, doesn't damage my nails. They are perfectly healthy and strong. These are my nails and they've never been so long and strong. So yeah, we use hard gel. So for everyone that always asks, it's hard gel, it's not shellac, and it's definitely not acrylic.
Yeah. So it doesn't have any solvents. Acrylic is very high in solvents. It has to air dry. Gel has to go in a lamp. It cures. So no solvents means it won't dry out the nail. And it's great for people that are in water or using their hands a lot, cooking. It's great for all that.
Yeah. We just did a live a few weeks ago where we got asked a lot. So I'm just going to ask a few of the questions that are really asked often to me and that were asked a lot during that live. So what is the difference between shellac and gel?
Yeah, so just went over that a little bit. Shellac is made by an American company called CND. That's just one brand. So shellac is a hybrid gel polish. So many companies make a gel polish. OPI makes a gel polish, SE makes a gel polish, and Akzentz also makes a gel polish. So I use the hard gel and the gel polish on top. So the gel polish that I use is called Luxio, and it's a solvent-free gel polish. So unlike most of the mainstream gel polishes, it doesn't have solvents that are going to dry out the nail. So that's great for a more natural look. I can also put that directly on the nails, but like we do on Catherine, we add an extra hard gel to give more strength to her nail.
Something that people ask me all the time, obviously I'm trying to live my healthiest, bestest life. I try my best to use natural beauty products and skin products. And something that I think is a really big misconception, and something I've even wondered until we sort of spoke about it, is gel bad for you? Is polish bad for you? Is it bad for you to do your nails? Is it toxic? Like, what's the deal with that?
Right, so gels in general are much healthier for our health in terms of chemicals and products that we're inhaling and that are absorbing into our skin. Because there's no solvents, you're not breathing in those heavy fumes. It's also, this brand it's a Canadian brand, it's cruelty-free, vegan, and it's free of all the most harmful chemicals.
So it's not bad for you?
It's not bad for you.
Oh, can you also explain, this was something that was like shocking to me, that nails are dead.
So huge misconception, and I hear people say this all the time, that their nails need to breathe. So it's similar to hair. As soon as your hair grows out of the root, it's no longer living tissue or living material. So just like your hair can't repair itself, you can't fix your split ends. You can smooth them over, but really the only way to fix that is to cut. So same with nails. If you have a damaged nail, you can only really grow them out and file them. And
right, it will never like bond back together.
No, exactly. And the nails don't need to breathe, so they can be covered as long as there's no moisture trapped underneath the product. Then there's no risk of the nail rotting or anything like that. That's mostly due to fungus, which is something that's contracted.
And so what is the, like, a lot of people will always say to me, are your nails acrylic? And I'm always like, oh, me, no, because I just know that it's not good, even though I don't really know why. And I find it weird that, like, I don't know, I feel like acrylics are very like the 90s-ish, but like in the worst way. So can you sort of just tell us why acrylic is bad and like why it's sort of passe?
So acrylics is made up of monomers and polymers, and those, so it's like a liquid and a powder form. The liquid needs to evaporate. So those are the fumes that we're talking about that you're breathing in. There are different qualities in those. So there's some higher quality acrylics that are available. Those are more popular in the States. So I know that in the US, people are still using acrylic a lot. In Canada, we don't really see it so much anymore because I think people recognize that it can be really harmful. So that's why we've been gravitating more towards the premix formulations of the gels where you're not breathing in those fumes.
So now we're just basically curing the gel. It's LED light, so we're putting it in.
It's not the same light wavelength as UV, so it's not the same intensity that you're getting from the sun. So it's really, I know there's been a lot of articles written about the harm of the lamps for gel and gel polish, but it's very mild and it's not the same thing as UV. There's no studies that prove that the lamps from gel polish machines can cause cancer, skin cancer.
Either way, SPF on the back of your hands.
Exactly. There's no going wrong with SPF.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong.
Always, like everywhere the sun can hit often, which is like your hands age and you can't Botox your hands.
No. Actually, I had a client who did that.
Botox.
Not Botox, but it was like some sort of plumping for this skin.
Scares me. You'd have like these like really like thick hands. Yeah. Okay, so another question that we got asked a lot on our live, and I think is a great question, even though I don't really know what this is. But what is the difference between SNS powder and acrylic? And what's better?
Okay, so SNS is a new product that's been on the market for a few years, and it's become really popular. I get a lot of questions about this. I've never personally used SNS or acrylic, but there's a misconception that SNS is healthier than acrylic. So they do add some sort of vitamins in the SNS powder, but essentially it's the same thing. Anything that has to have a liquid and a powder is basically acrylic. And because, like I mentioned before, the nails are not alive, they're not porous. They are porous, but they're not living tissue that can absorb nutrients.
It's like useless.
It's pretty useless, and SNS is very brittle and hard, so it can cause a lot of damage to the nails, and removing it's like putting cement on your nails. So having to soak that off, having to file it off when it chips off, it's very drying and makes your nail very brittle.
Is SNS the same thing as when people say like the dip?
Yeah, exactly. So SNS
dip
is
powder or something?
Essentially like a dip powder. So it's basically like an acrylic powder with glue. So you can imagine that acrylic powder with glue on your nails can be pretty harsh.
So don't do it. So now we're doing the hard gel. So before it was a base coat, and now we're going hard gel, and Gabrielle likes to do it one nail at a time so that it sets properly.
Yeah, exactly. So I do build a bit of a structure and I fill in if there's been any lifting. So I want to make sure it's a pretty liquidy gel. So I want to make sure that it holds its shape and that it doesn't spill into the cuticles. So that's why I cure one nail at a time.
I bet you guys never knew that there was so much to know about nails and about the process of a proper, really good manicure. And I know a lot of people do it at home. I'm just someone who's not good at doing my own beauty things at home. In the end, I'll cut it myself, and whatever it costs to do a manicure or even when I get my hair done, it's worth it because the amount that I would damage my situation and the time I would spend doing it, it just doesn't pay it. I don't know what to say, but it just doesn't pay itself off, okay? Me again. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, guys, so now we're gonna do the fun part, which is the color. Like I mentioned before, I'm gonna go with my classic, like I like to call it, KG pink. The way that I describe it is that we take basically we take a white and we drop in a hot pink. So we are gonna show you what we do it with. We'll tell you the color that we do it with. Like I said, this brand is not everywhere. You're not just gonna walk into any random nail salon, they're gonna have it. So we're gonna try to give you our best sort of explanation of how you can ask for this color, because I don't feel like this color is bottled.
No, it's really hard to find this perfect baby pink. So for this look, we're gonna use Polar and Bombshell, right? That's your go-to. So this is a very high quality gel polish that's made by the company Akzentz. So it's actually a Canadian company. It's all made in Vancouver, made, manufactured. They have their own chemists. It's still family owned. It's a really great company. I've met all the owners. I've gone to their headquarters, seen the factory. Wonderful people, wonderful company. I educate for them now. So this is the only product I want to be using. It's my favorite product. I've never seen anything like it on the market. And not only do they have an amazing gel polish, they have 4 lines of gel that work super well together. So that's why, as a professional, I love using this line.
And I've been using Akzentz in my manicures for over 7 years.
Yeah. So it's amazing. Doesn't damage the nails. You can use it for however many years you want, and your nails are still going to be perfect. So I'm going to start by depositing some white on the palette.
You're so professional.
Technical.
So the real base is really white.
Yeah. And polar is a more
Blue.
icy blue white. Yeah.
It's colder. Polar, get it?
And bombshell is this really neon pink. So
That's always how I describe it. I'm like, you take a really white and you put in like a drop of hot pink, and then you blend it until you get that perfect color. And there you have.
that looks about right.
And there you have KG Pink.
Yeah.
That's KG Pink. Sometimes we'll be like, ooh, let's add a little more white. Sometimes we'll do white and do it with like a neon purple to make it a little more purpley and lilac-y. But for the most part, this is the color. So it's literally baby pink, but it's brighter than your regular baby pink. Yeah, it's like a neon baby pink, basically. So. So something I get asked all the time with my nails is like, how often do I have to get a manicure and how long does the manicure last? For me, I think that the actual manicure could last and look great for like 3 weeks, maybe even 4. But in terms of regrowth, I have to come every 2 weeks because my nails grow pretty fast, which I test to my healthy lifestyle and collagen. And something else that I get asked a lot is about cuticle maintenance and how my cuticles aren't dry and how to maintain that. And for me personally, I don't really focus on that. I don't really like moisturize my cuticles, but maybe Gabrielle has some tips for you.
Yeah, so Catherine's nails, or her cuticles, don't grow super fast, but if yours do and they're super dry, I would push them back a little bit when you get out of the shower and put some oil. So my favorite is almond oil, but any kind of body oil or skin oil that you have would work great. So that would help.
Oil those cuticles.
Yes.
Oil those cuticles, girls.
Oil them 20 times a day if you have to.
Something else is in terms of shape, like sometimes I do get asked what shape I ask for. I don't really ask for a specific shape. I think this is kind of like my natural shape, I want to say. So if you wanted to ask for this shape, I think that the right thing, and you'll tell me if this is right, would be to say that you kind of want like square with rounded edges.
Yeah, and like a tapered square, like a more narrow square. So narrow on the sides, rounded edges, but straight on top.
I just think that I have like pretty long nail beds and I have pretty big hands. I'm 5'8", you know. I love the look of like oval and all these like fun shapes, but for some reason I just feel like it wouldn't suit me. So this is the shape that suits my hands really nicely. And I think everyone kind of has a different shape that works well for them. And it sort of goes with your own hand and what works well for you. the info on how I get my nails did. Thank you so much to Gabrielle for answering so many amazing questions. She's like the expert. I have no idea what I'm doing. I just sit. So thank you.
It was such a pleasure. It was a lot of fun.
You guys can check her out on Instagram at gabrielle.nails. We'll put the handle here and I'll link it in the description on this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you guys next week.